Redd,
No.
Commissioner Gentry,
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez,
Yes.
Commissioner State,
Yes.
Chairwoman Wilson Wood.
Yes. At this time, can I have an approval to, for the regular scheduled meeting held for March 13th?
So before, I don't know if I was doing that before or after, however, at your places is, based on the comment, from Commissioner Staten, we just added one statement in the minutes that, recognized that Commissioner, Cordelia Staten was a newly, appointed commissioner, and I'm just recognizing that she was a newly appointed commissioner and then stating her term. So I have a revised
Okay.
minutes, and that's the only thing in the minutes that's revised. It says, please, here, what's that?
The motion would be to approve the revised minutes as indicated by.
Okay. Can I have a motion to revise the meeting?
Yes, sir, I'm sorry. It's,
That's
the
okay.
first thing is, the first thing is the meeting minutes at the top. Of course, now, below your professional.
No. Okay.
So just to, let the board members know, in your, before you, you have a revised meeting minute. You have our, newsletter, our April newsletter. You have the revised resolution 2417. Again, Commissioner Stevens, noticed the typographical error on that. And then you have the committees, the draft of different committees, that was provided by Commissioner Lopez and Commissioner Stabler, and then the House of Code of Professional Conduct.
So are we adding this stuff to the agenda to be
It's already,
discussed?
it's already on the agenda.
Oh, it is.
It's just a correction to the resolution. It's a typo on 2417, and it was an additional statement added in the regular meeting minutes.
So to clarify the.
Excuse me. So you're saying to me, I understand 24/7 is part of the resolution, you revised it. And it was an error, but I think we should have time, we just getting it today. The code of ethics, I don't see that on the agenda. And, we just were informed about the updates, including the, insert that you mentioned about Commissioner, Stanton as, Staten, as the new commissioner. And also the Finance and Audit Committee, which I have no issue with, but like last month, it was not placed on the agenda to be addressed. It was not placed on the agenda to even notate that he actually took the time with Commissioner Stanton, that Staten, I'm sorry, I have to get used to it.
Please.
Staten, thank you. Staten, that would be, addressed. So this is again, what I said, even last month with the voting for the, and, we discussed that there was gonna be some changes on the bylaws for the, redevelopment or the trustee board and the bylaws for this board. And again, it's being done out of the purview of the board, because it's not supposed to be done by the administration. And that was not even placed on the agenda. It was put in for new business on the minutes, but it wasn't on the agenda. And I repeat this the last 2 years, again, that there is no transparency, things just pop up at this meeting. Then you want to measure the time to address things that are on the agenda, and what you can ask and not ask, and what information that you are allowed to receive. But the purpose of this being volunteer and being at a appointed board is to ask the questions that are being asked, and it seems like there's an issue again. But go ahead. Like I said, we're saying one thing, outwardly, it's not being documented in the minutes, because we keep getting the pushback. I've asked for numerous of documents during these meetings, they're not put into the minutes, and I'm not getting those reports or those documents. And again, this is a cycle that's going nowhere. Again. And it's the purpose of asking this is if anything comes up, any discrepancies or issues with administration, that it shows that we did our due diligence, and we can't even prove that because it's not documented in the minutes. I went to the minutes, I went to YouTube for the French Tower meeting, and it only started off with me at the end of the meeting. Where's the rest of the meeting? You keep saying it's all recorded, blah, 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 blah. And that's not the facts. And you're not documenting enough information in these, you can't do that.
Yes,
You're
I
not,
can.
no, you cannot.
I did that to him to let you continue talking because I didn't want him to interrupt you. So don't tell me what I can and cannot.
You cannot, you're not his mama.
Alright.
But anyway, because it's called colluding. And it's supposed to be a separation between the chair and the ED. Anyway, just like I'm saying, we're not very well knowledgeable about our roles as commissioners. And it just gets to this point where I'm reiterating what I've been saying every meeting. Nobody really gets it, but you know what, I know that's true, and we all do, that sooner or later, things start to come out and it reveals itself.
All right,
So,
thank you
that's
very
all.
much for your time.
My
At
time.
this time, we will have a roll call.
Do we actually have a motion for the minutes? I want to make sure we have that down.
We-
No, I
Can
think
I
the
get a
motion, and these are the revised minutes.
These
as
are the
presented,
revised.
With the
Right.
addition of reference to,
Yeah, but we haven't even looked at the revised minutes, when we found out about them until today.
the only thing
One
changed.
sentence.
I heard,
Well,
I heard,
then you
but
can
I
look
don't
at
know
it.
that, I don't know if that's the only
You
thing
can look
that
at
changed.
it, then look at it.
I don't, listen to me. You know what? This is my point. You're being ignorant, and what I'm saying to you is when I come to this meeting, I already looked at the booklet. I'm here to answer questions of what I reviewed
Okay.
for the 5 days.
The same thing with me, too.
You don't even read half this stuff. You don't even half the time know what's in the
So
packet.
at this
Really?
time, can
Yes,
we have,
really.
can we have
Don't make it count.
a motion?
It doesn't.
These are
To
the-
revise the minutes.
The motion for the revised minutes.
So moved.
Second.
I'd just like to make one comment. For the motion authorizing me to work on the board committees, I think instead of contact commissioners, although that was the permissions as well, but it was really to move forward, period, with being able to continue with the drafts of the committees. And so contact, I think, limits what the motion really was, which was to be able to move forward. Not just contact, but also receive feedback if people want to receive. That was really more the invitation, hey, here is what we have, and if you want to reach out as well, and provide feedback that I can incorporate in there, that was more the spirit of what I remember the motion being. So this, I don't know if you all in agreement to that, but that would be the one amendment I would want to make, yes.
And also,
So-
and what he's doing is not supposed to be during the board meeting, it's outside. So we would have to agree that we would have special meetings to address this. This is not something that we are supposed to be covering during a regular board meeting because we don't have a retreat. What he's doing, which is admirable, okay, was supposed to be done with all of us collectively at a retreat.
Okay, so at this time, can I have a second?
And this is to include the modification
So,
to
commissioners
contact
take
and receive feedback.
That is correct.
So we say
All right.
contact and receive feedback,
From
contact and.
commissioners.
Not through email, it's supposed to be at a meeting.
Take out comment, but
Yes.
to move forward,
To move
With
forward with.
commissioners to establish.
Which would include, receiving and gathering feedback. But to move forward really was the.
That was what it was, you're
Right.
correct.
I'm sorry, at this time, Commissioner Staton, you did second.
Is that correct?
Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Garrett,
Abstain.
Commissioner Lopez,
Yes.
Commissioner Staton,
Yes.
Chairwoman Walden Wood.
Yes. At this time, we'll have a report from the secretary, please.
So there's just a few things I did want to highlight, that was in the report, with respect to, tenants accounts receivable. We are making progress. Month to month, we reduced the tenant accounts receivable by over $100,000. If you look at the report, you'll see a listing of, a numerical count of all individuals who are in arrears and where they are in the court process. Whether they received whether we've done an agreement with them or whether we received a judgment in court, it's all there. Like I said, that is coming down. Vacant unit reconditioning, we're still struggling with the vacant unit reconditioning. However, the units that you all approved in February, have been let, and my understanding is by the end of this month, all 47 of those units will be completed. So if you look at your report with respect to the vacancy, the real vacant units is in the first column where it says number of vacant units for reconditioning, where there's 50 there as of March 31st. The other units for modernization, the 88, that includes the units at Downey Homes that we're not filling, and there is a resolution on the agenda today to award to a local minority contractor the negotiated contract for the 22 units the bid that was rejected at last board meeting. That deals with that 88, and then the 30 in the final column. The 30 is the units that we're working on in Prospect Village, Fraser Court, and Campbell Homes, which is the total redevelopment, demolition and redevelopment of those properties. So when we actually look at the vacancies that we're actually operationally dealing with, we're at about 50 right now. Plus 50 plus another 15. So I wanted to point that out.
Is this minus Dolly Homes?
I'm sorry, we didn't get to the questions yet.
Okay. I want to congratulate Terrence and Cliff and the team for our inspired inspection that was conducted in February at the senior buildings. We actually scored an 89. Inspired is the new inspired. And Patrona as well. You know, the whole team, our whole team on that, they did a good job. Actually, the properties were rated an A under Inspired. Inspired is new. They used to call them REACT inspections, so now they moved to this new system called Inspire. And like I said, we got an 89, and the property was rated an A. I'm still learning how to read it. Before the 89, it was actually a 94. They're gonna educate me more on what exactly that means, but the projected score is at 89.
What building is this?
This is all three senior buildings.
Oh, all three
French
senior
Towers,
buildings. Okay.
Abbott Apartments, and Josephson Apartments. Also, again, just a big shout out to Rich and Cliff and Terrence and Ron for putting their heads together on the laundry rooms. All of the laundry rooms have been completed. There's new machines
As of when?
as of today, but it was completed it's in your report. I think it was completed sometime in March. But all of the rooms have been redone with new equipment, and now residents have a card. You know, we have a kiosk machine where you buy it from the kiosk machine. And again, the housing authority is receiving 100% of that revenue. So that was a good. I think a good move is going to show for us in the future with revenue.
Where is the kiosk machine located?
In the laundry rooms.
Oh, in the basements?
No, the laundry rooms are not in the basements. There's a laundry room in Wilson Homes. Well, none of the laundry rooms are in the basement. I think Fraser Court is the only one. Prospect Village is in the community room. There's a separate room in all three senior buildings, and then in Lincoln Homes there's a separate laundry.
Okay. So it doesn't put any of the residents in danger when they're trying to put money on their card?
I mean, no different than when they would go in there with
took place this week.
Rich is getting the money, so.
Took place this week, but we've been receiving good feedback on the new machines
That's good.
by the residents.
Okay, so with that, I'm gonna actually, ask, Ms. Huff to come up and just give a brief presentation on redevelopment.
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Good afternoon.
So just wanted to give an update on our Trace Neighborhood application. We had the distinct honor of being the only housing authority in the state of New Jersey to submit an application, so we're happy about that. Also, being a capital city and also having the state support during our application and our planning process, we are very excited and optimistic that we should be awarded. So that's something to feel proud about so far and keep our fingers crossed. We have not stopped our outreach efforts. We met with key staffers from Congresswoman Bonnie Watson Coleman's office and also from Senator Booker's office. So we are working with them. They are going to do, one, they're going to get the support of both Congresswoman and Senator Booker. Two, they're going to do a joint combined letter to go to HUD to support our project. And then they're going to work with us for whatever else we need to support going forward and moving, forward with the process. So we are very excited about that as well. And we are currently working on the redevelopment agreement with PRC, which is Property Resource Corporation. That's the developer that we chose last September to be the developer for Trace Neighborhood. So we're in the process of negotiating that agreement right now. Also, we are also in the process of negotiating an agreement for Genesis. The Genesis company is the company that will be working to revitalize Prospect Village, Fraser Court 1 and 2. Fraser Court 1 consists of rehabilitation and modernization of Prospect Village, which is 120 units. Also Fraser Court 1, which is 37 units, and the complete demolition and redevelopment of Fraser Courts 2, which is the former Campbell Homes, is 30 units right now. We anticipate it being a RAD Section 18 blend and being able to have higher rents up to 110% of fair market rent. So residents will still pay 30% of their income, but we will receive more revenue on the back end. So we're excited about that also. And we're continuing to do our modernization projects. So that's all I have right now. We are looking to do conversions of the senior buildings in the near future in Wilson, Haversack as well. So that's all I have right now. Do you have any questions? Yep.
For Wilson, that's the one that's already vacant, is that correct?
No, Campbell's vacant. That's the one, the
Okay,
30
is
units.
Campbell part of that?
Yes, it's Fraser Court 2 also. I mean, Fraser Court 2 you might see in there, but that's former Campbell Homes, 30 units.
Okay,
Mhm.
so when you gave a report, last year, you stated that it was gonna cost $500,000
Per unit.
per unit, but I noticed that it's only gonna cost $800,880 for all those combined for this, because I think that's what you have in here for the resolution, right? Does that include Campbell, Fraser Home too?
No, we don't have a resolution for that. No.
Oh, okay, so the one in here didn't include that?
No.
Okay.
I'm not
Thank
sure
you.
what resolution is. Okay. Any other questions? No, no.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
For the minutes, Member Green arrived at 12:57, so I'll make sure it's covered.
Thank you.
Okay, next I'd like to have just Ms. Kaya Green come up and give a brief presentation on some of the programming she's doing with resident and community services. If you look in the package, you'll see that there's quite a bit going on.
Good afternoon, Commissioners
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
and residents and team. Okay, so yeah, we're busy in resident and community services. Mr. Garrett, I wasn't expecting this, but okay, yeah. I'll start off too. We just had a great partnership meeting. We invited our community partners, all of the partners that we're engaging with across the community to come in. We did a partner intake so that we can understand a little bit more intimately what each community partner brings to the table for THA so that our department can fully assess what the services that our partners provide and match that appropriately with resident needs, because the overall goal of the department is to support residents with their needs, right? And so, our residents, we feel the basic need of housing, but we know that our community have deeper needs than just housing, right? And so that's the point of community partnerships, is so these partnerships are able to address those other needs. And so we'd like to just create a comprehensive system around meeting the residents' needs. And so the partnership meeting, March 26th, was the uncovering of getting to that system of how we will go about approaching each resident's need. And so each community partner, they it was like over 40 people that came, and it was very productive session around first what each partner thought about wellness, because we also know that the community mental health is a concern, and just overall wellness is at the top of each resident. No, you know, if it's young, if it's a child, you know, we have a after school student right now who just suffered the loss of a parent, and so we'd like to be a lot more proactive about addressing things like that. And so that's the point of these community partnership meetings, is to take this to a strategic approach versus just everyone coming and kind of sharing what they're doing in their organizations and you know, not really being a part of the true solution of meeting the needs of our residents. So that was one of the, I feel like, one of the highlights of last month.
But how did the organizations help, or one of those organizations help with the young man who lost a parent? Did they were able
We
to
haven't,
assist?
that's the whole point, Commissioner Garrett, is that we're working on designing the system so that when these things come up, we have the list of partners that does XYZ. We'll understand from a more strategic place what these organizations can do.
From your feedback, how did you think did most of those 40 organizations that attend, how just spaced out of the, from one to, out of the 40, how many you think that will be able to have a program that be able to deal with issues that we have here at Trenton Public Housing? All 40 of them? The
I don't understand your
organizations that
question.
presented,
Yeah.
The organization presented, we presented our issues, right? And they was able to say, well, we can engage you or partner with you with this issue, that issue. So out of the 40 that attended this, and you said that it was very informative, I don't know if the other tenants were residents attended, but how many of those out of those 40 do you think that we would be able to partner with to deal with a lot of our ongoing issues?
So they're all community partners. They're all.
Oh, they're already partnered with us?
Yes. They're already partnered with us.
Oh, okay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Madam Chair, I have a question, no comment. So I really enjoyed reading your report.
Yes.
It's very thorough and covered
Thank
a
you.
lot of things. You're doing a good job.
Thank you.
When you talk about addressing the trauma and working with partners, what I have found working in the school district and being in the city is that there has to be some level of familiarity for people to talk about their trauma and to get help. And so whatever you do with your partners, they just can't come after a loss, if they can have some sort of continuing services, like maybe monthly, if they just put out a little flyer about how to deal with anxiety or conflict, things like that, just so that people, they go, oh, this came from so-and-so again. Oh,
Okay.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, this organization said something about this. And so they get to see
To
it a little
build the
often.
face, to build the
Absolutely.
rapport. Yeah.
If it's gonna be effective, they gotta know, it won't matter, who they are, they have to know that they care, for it to be
Mhm.
effective. And so that's just what I was, when you're addressing the trauma piece,
Okay.
because that's a pretty big,
Yeah,
thing in our community, and although everybody wants to help with it, not everybody is able to receive it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, because they don't know, because it's a very vulnerable kind of thing, you
yeah,
know. So
absolutely.
familiarity with the partners would be good.
Thank
And it
you.
has to be a unit with the family, with it, like you're saying with the little
I'm
boys.
sorry, Mr. Red, I wasn't
Oh, go
finished.
ahead, go ahead.
Thank you. And, the other thing I wanted to speak to on this was, in fact, I had marked it, this is the, this is the work you do with Mr. Green.
Yes.
You helped put that together. I had a little star by it, and I thought that was a really good thing, so I'm glad you elaborated on it. Are you prepared to answer a question of, the main reason of back rent? I see you go out and you try to fact find on that as well.
I'm not prepared to
Speak on that.
speak on that,
Okay.
but I don't know if, Mr. Green or,
No, that would-
Patrona
so that would
on
be-
back rent.
that would be- That's our tenant accounts receivable we
Oh.
talked about. So one of the things that we're doing a whole lot of proactive things. One of the things that we've done is actually, Patrona and Resident Services partner with is managers are going out and knocking on doors, for residents to
Mhm.
open
Right.
line,
So- mhm.
but they thought it would be good to have someone who's known in the community who can give another perspective of the long-term effect that this may have on you. So we had, Freedom, a company as well, to give like motivation and speak to it from another angle. And that's been very successful. We've been getting a lot of calls of people coming in, paying their rent, contacting us and getting up to date on these arrears. I think what happened was, just to take it back a little further, so before the pandemic, the Housing Authority had a very effective rent collection system in place. In fact, we had what they call half late. If you paid late 4 times, you got put on half late. You got a probation for 6 months. If you paid late in that 6 months, you went to court. And it was very effective. Rent collections were in the area of 97, 98%. When the pandemic happened, HUD directed us to send out first of all, they did a moratorium on eviction. HUD directed us to send out a communication to residents saying that basically is an eviction moratorium. These are your rights. Very on a policy level, very, very, very poor policy because protections are already in place for public housing residents. If you lose your job, you go into the office, you do a recertification, your rent comes down to whatever 30% of your unemployment is, or if you have no income, it goes, our minimum rent is $50. So what happened is, from March of 2020, in total, we had about $200,000 outstanding in accounts receivable, tenant accounts receivable. By December of that year, it was $1.2 million, based on this moratorium and based on, so what happened is, people just stopped paying. So now we're in the process of re-educating and training our families back into the importance of paying rent, and we're finding that we're making some good progress,
Okay.
back the other way.
And lastly, I just want to say, so like, there's so many things going on. Now, do you have a calendar of events?
Yes,
Would you be kind enough to provide that
Sure.
to?
Yeah,
Madam Chair,
absolutely.
Can we all do,
Absolutely. Thank
Yeah.
you.
for all of us?
yeah,
I'm
No
making
problem.
on some of that bingo.
okay.
That's my-
We'd love to have
my
you.
thing. Yeah, okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
I have a question.
Mhm.
There was a company for the redevelopment for, the, North Trenton thing. It was a company that was supposed to go, into trying to deal with activities for the tenants and making sure, that their day is fulfilled, meaning they either was looking for a job, had a job, was having classes. What is that company? They were supposed to hire 50 people. What was it?
Are you speaking, I think you're speaking of urban strategies.
I think so, yes. Are you working with them?
They'll be here for a visit on the
Yeah.
23rd.
So they haven't started implementing the program?
No, because that's contingent on us receiving the Choice Neighborhood Grant. But they are coming, the April 23rd, right? To do a partnership meeting and, work to be proactive in case we do get the grant, to kind of organize our partners around exactly what you're speaking about.
Right, I just thought that based on the presentation, that would be something that can be implemented whether we get the grant or not. Is that precedent, because you're saying, it'll, see if we get that, neighborhood choice grant, is the funds to fund them is coming out of that?
Yes,
So- I'll speak on that. The partnership, the subcommittees that I've worked to organize speak to what you're saying.
Some of those,
Whether,
services.
because we applied for the Jobs Plus grant and
Right.
also the Choice Neighborhood grant. And so I worked to organize these subcommittees in case we get them, but even if we don't get them, we're still doing the work around what we believe in as far as workforce development, youth education, wellness, senior support, local business partnerships. We'll still be doing the work whether we receive the grants or not.
Right, because I think one of the things that I thought was, what, the young lady was presenting, she was saying that they're gonna deal with families to make sure everybody in the household who was on the lease have something to do with their time. Meaning you either at a job, you're in, or you're, some certain program to fulfill your day. It's not idle. You understand what I'm saying? So I thought that was interesting, and I just really wanted to see how that was working, but of course, we just found out. But I'm hoping that your committees will kind of address that, where people are just not bored and, just finding idle mind is, it creates other things, behaviors that is not conducive to progress or quality of life, help benefit the quality of life of others or themselves. So that's why I mentioned that. But thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And one thing that I just wanted to highlight in the newsletter here that Kai did talk about is that we had our first successful, Miss Christine Bynum, our first successful homeownership. She purchased a home under, and she was in enrollment in our family self-sufficiency program. So this is a great success story, and this is what the purpose of the family self-sufficiency program is. So that's our first win. A young lady who came through the family self-sufficiency program and purchased a home. So that's kudos to Tria.
No offense, Mr. Secretary, but that should have been on the front page. I like to speak.
Well, I speak to it in the message.
You did.
And also we will be going to doing our first Fridays this Friday. It will be a habit with our coffee with the executive director, and also just we attended the West Ward Civic Association meeting on Monday night. We were invited by Councilwoman Testa Frisbee, and we spoke to myself, Rich, Kai, and Terrence and Freedom were there, and we spoke to the homeowners and residents who showed up to that.
So I heard.
Yep.
The minutes should reflect the Commissioner Raines arrived at 12:43.
Resolution.
Yep.
Oh, I had a
No,
question.
we're doing resolutions right now.
No, you said that I could have answered the question he was speaking about, where it came down to the housing, the resident, where he was talking about the receivables, and that has a lot to do with whether I agree with the resident. Because I asked a question, you said wait until the end of that, and I'm talking about housing operations. So the question was, as we empty Darling homes, how does that affect our subsidies? And the REMAP reports for all the properties, as you spoke about the scoring and the new scoring, I asked for last year's, I did receive it, and I would like this year's, and that is something I would like to be reflected in the minutes as something that needs to be done. I would like the full REMAP reports. So how does that affect our subsidies? Because from my understanding, if we do get the grant, these Darling homes will not be demolished, and we won't be working on the property over there. and for another 2 or 3 years. So we're emptying the units here on this property. How is that gonna affect our income, or how is that gonna affect HUD? Because they subsidize us for
Yeah, HUD.
every occupied unit.
Yeah,
So how does that play into our income and the receivables?
HUD has, so the main thing you're missing is the rent on that.
I'm missing.
HUD has a number of different programs when you're doing redevelopment that they help you financially. One is an asset repositioning fee. The other one, they call it DDTF, demolition, disposition, and transition funding. As well as when you're going under redevelopment, we can, in what they call PIC, which is the Public Housing Information Center, those units can be identified as undergoing modernization, so they become, they get a waiver, or they are units that still get subsidized with the intent that HUD understands that we're undergoing modernization.
At the same rate that they would have if they were occupied?
Again, it's the same is a project expense level and a utility expense level that's applied to each unit.
Okay,
So you'll still get the subsidy applied to those units. The income that you're missing is the rent. But the way HUD works actually, really, when you look at subsidy, the way HUD works, unfortunately, that's why we're moving away from public housing into RAD. There's no benefit. If your rents go up, your subsidy goes down. So you actually have a project expense level and a utility expense level that you're capped at. So if everybody starts, if all our residents starts making money and paying greater rent, our subsidy goes down. It's not gonna go
I
above that
understand.
project expense level. And the same as if you're not getting rent, then in your next subsidy calculation, your subsidy will go up. Your overall average amount paid by residents will go down, and then your subsidy will go up. So that's one of the reasons why we're moving to programs that are conducted under what they call multifamily in the private industry that are more beneficial to us in terms of revenue and income.
okay, so those 3, the asset repositioning, fee, is it what you call it, right? And the other 2, PIG or something like that? So could you put that in the report so we can see for each vacant unit going forward that's empty, that the monies are being paid for those
No.
empty units
No,
being
because
paid for?
it doesn't work like that. Again, you get, HUD funding is provided on HUD fiscal year basis. And that's another reason why we're moving to RAD, because in RAD, you can do that. If you have a Section 8 based property, there's a set rent. Say it's a 2-bedroom, it's $1,200 each month. And Patrona knows this because this is what we're doing in Turner Point. Each month you submit to what they call tracks there, and basically you're getting paid that amount for each unit. And you can see if it's
When we're under RAD, that's how it works, is that correct?
what I'm telling you is the report that you're looking for, I can't provide it to you. That's my answer.
So how are you gonna monitor or determine or distinguish that we are getting paid these funds from these different?
You have to look at the expense and revenue statement that you receive every month. And if you're looking for how we're operating, revenue versus expenses, look at the revenue and expense statement.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
One more thing, in regards to this, under the, secretary's report for finance and procurement.
No, we don't resolution right now.
But isn't this about the resolution that we get ready to pass about the finances, deal with the, finance and procurement?
There was no motion, there was no second.
No.
Okay.
Resolution, please. At this time, can I have a motion to adopt resolution 2414? I'm sorry.
Can you present it?
Can you present it
Please.
first?
Rich is going to present 2414 and 2415.
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Good afternoon.
All right. I'll start with Resolution 2414. This resolution authorizes the approval for disbursements for March 2024 in the amount of $1,659,683.79, split between the general fund and the capital fund. The general fund totaling $1,299,837.82, and the capital fund being $359,848.97. It is the recommendation that the Board of Commissioners adopt the resolution approving the disbursements for the month of March 2024.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to adopt resolution 24-14?
So moved.
Second.
Question, Commissioner State.
Thank you so much. So on page 4 or 5, you list something that doesn't have any monetary amount, and it is the compensation survey. It's like the third down from the top, page 4 or 5.
Yes.
So nothing within, nothing within, what is?
It was probably something that was coded or a check that had been written that had been voided.
Oh,
So that's a zero, so it zeroes out on the report.
okay. But should it be on here? It should still be on here?
Well, this captures all the checks that were, all the disbursements that went out during the month.
Okay.
So it's just, it's logging that this gives you a complete total of everything that was passed for the month.
I thank you.
Any other questions?
I have,
One moment, Commissioner Green.
Moving forward, so that will always reflect on our report that way?
Yes.
Zero.
Mhm.
Okay, for any,
Yeah, for all charges, well, for any voids, any type of voids or cancellations, you even may even see a credit if there is something that was adjustment or something like that on this report.
okay, thank you.
Commissioner Correct.
yes, on the statement of revenue and expenses variance report. Okay, so could you explain the administrative expenses that are negative and utility on the year to date? Because I bought last month's report, and it's just trying to figure it out. And also, when I went through the revenue expense statement and budget comparison for Housing Authority wide, I noticed that some of the, they weren't budgeted, like some of these line items were not budgeted for, was included for as expenditures. So I'm assuming that you didn't think you were gonna have these expenditures throughout this budget for this year, because it was very, it was an increase from last year. So, I'm just not understanding, which I'm glad you did put this back for actual and what was budgeted and what was the difference. Also, when I looked at the wide revenue expense statement and budget, and I compared that to central, and then I went into all properties, for all the asset properties, the numbers didn't tie out. Like, when I went back to the Trenton Housing Authority for overall budget, cumulative budget, and then I tried to go back, it just seemed like with all the properties, the revenues and stuff was higher than the overall cumulative report, first report. And some of the line items, and I was just like, I don't wanna point them out, but I would like to really sit down and figure out what's the discrepancy here, because I should be able to tie out the central with the property back into the overall Housing Authority, revenue expense statement and budget comparison report. So I just think, I know you had some issues, with, initially, because last month we only got, it was January. And what I noticed for the January report, the numbers, it was year to date, I think.
Well, for January, the budget wasn't loaded. So the last month, we didn't have the budget loaded into the system. So it wasn't a comparison, it was just the actuals that were listed there.
Right, but
So-
the thing was, with the actuals, so with the actuals, it still was a discrepancy. Because when I looked at that and I took that, because it really helped me to when I compared that report, the ones actual for January, the numbers were huge, like the amounts in that. And was that for just the month of January, or that was a cumulative of January, December, and November, or just for the month of January?
It would have been the actuals just for January, but
Okay.
to get the gist of your question, I mean, I can take this offline. I would suggest we kind of take this offline, and I can walk you
would like
through
to.
how the package is put together. Because when you're trying to add everything up, all sites are only inclusive of all sites, so they're excluding the central office cost center. So that's why that
I
doesn't.
do understand
Oh,
that.
okay.
I do understand that.
Yeah, so we can walk through, how everything ties
Yeah,
out and
because
walk through
there's
each one.
some areas, there's this big disparity, that it's like, wait a minute. Overall, you got one amount, it could be 500,000, and just for property for like income, it may be 600,000. It can't exceed the overall of the Trenton Housing Authority when you're just looking at the property taxes for the same line item for the total. So it can't exceed that. You see what I'm saying? Especially when you're breaking it down between the overall budget and expenses for the whole housing authority versus just the central versus just the properties. But it cannot exceed, those line items cannot exceed the overall, is what I'm trying to say. So in some areas. No February report. So I don't know if Mr. Garrett, because he was explaining that report, but there was no projected cash receipt and disbursement for February. We were aware of that? Because it wasn't in the report.
No, this is the February financials.
Not February, January. There was no, the February report is what I'm trying to say. When it was the January financials, it was not in there, it wasn't included in there. And neither was the cash account.
She's talking about last month's report.
Disbursements?
She's talking about last month's.
Last month's.
Last board meeting.
Yeah,
Last board meeting.
yeah.
Last board meeting.
Are we, Commissioner, Chairwoman, are we going over the reports? I wasn't here last month, so.
No, she's asking a finance, question on
And
Resolution was on disbursement.
and the tenant,
disbursements, like,
and the
14 is what we on disbursement.
yeah, and the tenant accounts receivable, that was not in the right place. And I also seen a disparity with the capital fund summary. So last month, there was a difference in the obligation. The line for the budget is the same, the money's expended is the same, the balance is the same. The only difference is there's a $4.5 million difference in the obligation. But the other lines should coincide with that, so I'm just not really sure what that's about. So, just a heads up on that.
No worries. Well, unfortunately, I don't think I can answer all those questions now,
Well, you
but we
don't
could
have to answer.
we could take that offline.
I'm just letting you know, we could take it offline, but I wanted to bring that. When you came
Brought
over
you.
and explained to me that, when you came over and explained to me that the capital budget, we put into projects that are being expended from that, which was great. He did, that was great that you did that. It's just that I wished I could have been able to take this offline, but we're supposed to only really talk to you during the board meeting. So, we can do that, that would be great. But,
Any other questions?
but excuse me, he hasn't explained statement of revenue expenses, variance report, the administrative expenses, what's issues going on there, what's going on with utility and the general expense, because they're negative.
Right now, we're doing resolution 2414.
This is part of the resolution.
And is this all the,
I'm only asking for the first page, but I went through the rest to explain that, for him to know that there are some discrepancy in that revenue and expense comparison budget.
Did you look at the explanation?
Yeah.
Did you look at the explanation?
Higher than anticipated year-to-date primary due to higher than anticipated management fees. The management fees towards what? Which we're talking about Turner's Point, we're talking about the management fees to put this project for Donnelly Homes. I mean, yeah, I did. What does that mean? I mean,
Management fees are located on. Hold on one
yeah,
second.
it is, because.
So
this
if you
is
turn to
waste.
page 2 of 5,
205,
no, 2 of 5. I'm sorry.
under the operation,
Under the revenue and expense disbursements, you'll see that the management fees that are driving that change are on, I would say,
We're talking about 205 in the payables. We're talking about, right? Accounts payable?
yeah, you're looking at the financials.
Right, because this plays into the budget, the actual, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Page. I think, I think we'd be better served kind of to answering these questions offline, just so I can show you where we are.
And you need to stop,
Excuse me.
because this is part of your performance and how you're doing as the director.
Mrs.
So I don't appreciate that.
Your opinion.
So, do you have an answer for Mr. Tibbs?
I can walk you through which the main drivers of that are right now at
I
this
just
point.
summarize it. I just summarize it. We're at the board meeting. I need to meet with you separately to go in depth. I'm just asking you to summarize it. That's all I'm asking you. And you just did for the administrative expenses. That's all. It's just to say that we did our due diligence. You explained what is in here as far as why it's showing a negative, variance, for this month, for month of February and year to date. That's why we're here. I'm not here just to be sitting here because we all like each other. Like, let's get it together here. This is why we're here.
I completely understand that, but if you look at the response there, that's the main driver. So in order to get any more detail into what those management fees are, I would have to kind of pull those numbers and drill down on them to exactly give you what were the main drivers to cause that expense to be higher than anticipated, higher than the
Okay.
budgeted
Madam
amount.
Chair, call the question.
So I'm going
Madam
to,
Chair, call.
I'm going to
I have
ask-
a motion.
excuse
Call-
me, I'm just
call-
want to finish
Call
up.
the question,
Could you
Madam
please
Chair.
set up a meeting for me and
Second.
Mr. Tidd, please?
Right.
Thank you.
Call the question, Madam Chair.
Any other questions?
No.
Roll
You all
call.
forget Commissioner Brown you got on this board, but I do know how.
Commissioner
That's
Guerrero,
out of
we're gonna
line.
do
That's
this.
out of line.
We're gonna,
Madam Chair,
That's
that's out of
over,
line.
you've been disrespecting everyone.
We're
No,
gonna.
you can't say what I've been
You
disrespecting.
you are.
You're disrespectful.
You are.
Uh-uh.
You are.
Everybody but
It's
you, all
disrespectful.
the
I
time.
bet you yelling.
You are.
I'm not.
You're not my mama.
Listen, we
And you
know.
ain't your own mama, because you don't have any self-control. You think you can come out of your face and say what you want to say to me,
Stop.
and then you want to say stuff to me?
Stop.
Lady, I'm a grown woman. What are you?
You're not.
Exactly.
You're not.
You come in here late and then
I'm
you
sorry.
want to sit and
I
try to
agree.
talk to somebody.
That was 23 minutes late.
I agree with
Yeah,
you.
and half the time you're not here.
Who's not here?
I'm sorry. Can you escort her out?
Thank you.
Escort her out.
Her meeting's over.
You're escorting me out.
Excuse me.
I need you to
I feel
escort her
uncomfortable.
out.
This is too much.
You're not escorting me out.
I feel
Yes,
uncomfortable.
I have that right.
No, you don't.
I do have that
No,
right.
you do not.
I do. I do have that right.
What do I do?
Because we're
No,
gonna.
have a seat, because if
We're gonna
somebody
be-
should have been escorted out, this woman has done too much at this table and attacked, and you're telling me you want to escort me out when I was as belligerent as you've been at this table? Come on, lady, take a seat.
The only thing that I'm gonna ask of you.
No,
for the rest of
no,
this meeting
no, no,
is to
no.
Please be respectful.
I am respectful.
That's all
You,
I'm
and I'm asking you to do the same thing,
I'm
be respectful.
You could take a
You
recess.
ran out? I'm scared. Madam Chair, there's a motion on the table. Let's deal with the motion and move forward, please.
On resolution 4414.
Commissioner Guerrero? No. Commissioner Gentry?
Yes.
Commissioner Green?
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Rain?
Yes.
Commissioner State?
Yes.
Chairwoman Wilson Gordon? 2415, Rich has for the audit.
Yes. So 2415, resolution 2415 is in relation to the annual audit. An independent accountant is required to audit the accounts and records of the Housing Authority of the City of Trenton for the 12-month period ending December 31st, 2023, in order to verify the accounts and records maintained or in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles and auditing report provisions of the applicable HUD audit guide for low-income housing program. It is my recommendation that the Board of Commissioners authorize the Executive Director to execute an agreement with Aprio to provide an auditing service in the amount not to exceed $49,459 total.
Can I have a motion to accept resolution 24-15?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Madam State?
Thank Thank you, Madam Chair. Is this the first time we've used this agency?
No. They're our auditor from the prior year,
Fair.
and prior, I guess, 2 years at least.
They're very detailed.
Yeah, okay. That was my only question. Thank you.
I have a question, well, not so much a question. The last time we had an audit report, I requested that I, be able to, ask for, some sampling, the next audit, so I like that to be considered, because that's, we can ask of that, of the auditor.
Any
I'll
other
put you on
questions?
Thank you.
Roll call.
Commissioner Garrett,
Yes.
Commissioner Gentry,
Yes.
Commissioner Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez,
Yes.
Commissioner Raines,
Aye.
Commissioner Staton,
Yes.
Chairwoman Weldon Gordon.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tibbs.
Thank you, sir. We're gonna have, Mr. Ken Martin, 2416.
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
No.
Resolution 2416 is for the modernization or the renovation of 22 units at Haverstick, Prospect, and Wilson. In the previous resolution, 2413, we asked the Commissioners to reject 2 previous attempts at public bids, which you approved. This allowed us to negotiate with contractors to get a reasonable price for this, for the 22 units. That's the firm of VI Construction was the lowest responsive and responsible bidder after the negotiations took place. The total cost of $880,000. This resolution, because it was a negotiation, requires 2/3 affirmative vote of the governing body to be approved. So I ask that you approve Resolution 2416.
Can I have a motion to accept 24-16?
So moved.
Second.
Questions? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioner Garrett,
No.
Commissioner Gentry,
Yes.
Commissioner Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez,
Yes.
Commissioner Raines,
Yes.
Commissioner Staton,
Yes.
Chairwoman Weldon Gordon.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank
Resolution,
you, Ken.
Resolution 2417.
I'd just like to make a point of order. On the first resolution we passed, there was a call to question, and from my understanding, the vote is to end debate, but then we still have to vote on the resolution itself.
Technically, I'm not sure that was ever seconded, but you were correct. The
No,
debate ended anyway.
I second.
And John
Commissioner
did say it was on the floor.
Okay,
We
so
can
just,
go back and vote for it.
okay, I just wanted to.
But we did.
Clarification.
But we
So
voted.
next time, we should vote on closing, calling the question, and then we vote on the substantive motion.
Yes, so it's two votes.
Yeah, right, there was a lot of discussion at the time, so, yeah.
So are we voting again on that actual resolution?
It probably would be good to go back and do that, just to reaffirm, first, I think that the vote would be to, on 2414, would be to, call the question per Member Staton's motion and Member Raines' second. So that'll be the first motion, which I think you probably already voted for.
That one was definitely.
And then now the vote properly would be to vote to approve resolution 2414.
And then that's the point of clarification, if we did or did not take that second vote to actually approve the resolution.
Right, so we're going to make sure the minutes clarify.
Yes, let's take a vote.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Commissioner
So
Lopez.
just so I'm clear, what are we voting on again?
We're actually voting on the resolution 2414. Prior, hold on.
That's all right, you can leave it there to the end of the meeting.
The actual vote probably should have been called on the call of the question to make sure we bring it to the vote, and now we're doing it right.
We gotta do another vote.
So it's supposed to be two votes, so that first notes that you took is actually for the call
Call
to
the
question,
question.
and not the resolution.
To stop questioning.
Yes.
To stop questioning.
And so we
Yes.
approved
Now this is the resolution.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
All right, thank you.
Good call.
I missed that
Roll
too.
call.
Very good.
This is the 2417.
This is 2414.
2014.
Wait, I don't, so who's the motion in the second?
This is the finance.
Original
She
motion
called
was
the
by
question.
Commissioner Raines and seconded by Commissioner Green. That's the original motion.
That was the original.
Right.
All the question was
Commissioner
Commissioner Staton and
Staton
Commissioner
and
Raines.
John.
I'm sorry.
To be clear, how does that work, Mr. Lopez? Meaning, what's the full understanding of that, cause I heard what you're saying, but I'm not sure how that plays into, cause I was asking a question, I was asking questions, getting information,
Yes.
and then she abruptly said to the floor something to that question, and we voted, and we all thought we were voting on 2417, which we were not.
Actually,
2414.
actually, point of order, Madam Chair. Commissioner Staton asked the chair to call the vote. That was the motion she made, and that's the motion I second, and that's what we did. Now we're gonna vote on 2414 to make sure everything is squared away.
And that
Yeah,
was-
but the point I'm saying,
I know
Mr. Rain, what was I saying?
I know what you.
What was I saying? My point is, we didn't know what we were voting on. I thought we were voting to approve 2414.
No, I thought we were voting on your motion that she made.
And that's my responsibility for not pointing that out. So now we are going back to make sure we vote on 2414.
Okay,
Correct.
All right?
Make it happen.
thank you.
Thank
Roll
you.
call.
Commissioner Garrett,
No.
Commissioner Gentry.
Yes.
Commissioner Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez,
Yes.
Commissioner Raines,
Yes.
Commissioner Staton,
Yes.
Chairwoman Wilden Wood.
Yes.
Okay, and 2417 is, it's titled Resolution Housing Authority of City of Trenton confirming appointments and establishing terms of Commissioners Tanzania Green, John Raines, and Gary Gentry as trustees of the Trenton City Housing and Redevelopment Corporation. So this motion is actually, or this resolution is actually confirming action that was taken at last, board meeting to appoint Commissioner Raines and Commissioner Gentry as trustees, but also we wanted to clean up our records for the organization to make sure that we had a record of the appropriate terms. The bylaws say that trustees are supposed to serve 3-year staggered terms with 1 term expiring each year. Essentially, you will be confirming Commissioner Green for a term expiring June 30th, 2025, Commissioner Raines for a term expiring June 30, 2026, and Commissioner Gentry for a term expiring June 30, 2027. And just to tell you the thinking on why I picked those commissioners, I looked at the time that you were appointed and served Commissioner Green, and then for Commissioner Raines and Commissioner Gentry, the time of their current appointment. So Commissioner Raines' appointment to the Housing Authority Board will be up prior to the June 30th, 2027. So that's the thinking behind it, just to let you know, so we stagger like that.
I trust
Don't
your
mean you
thinking.
won't get reappointed.
No, no.
I just do.
I mean, I want it, but, no, I trust your thinking.
Yep,
That's-
yes, sir.
You'll need a motion for that then.
Yes.
That doesn't really.
Can I have a motion to adopt resolution 2417?
So move.
Second.
Any questions?
I do. I would like us to table this for the simple fact, it has language in here that my question is, well, I'll speak for me, that it's not, I'm not understanding. For instance, it says in here, the second paragraph down, instrumentalities, how does that play? I'm not really understanding that term. Transfer ownership rights connected with Trenton Housing Authority sponsored redevelopment projects. I don't really, that plays into, I'm trying to understand ownership rights in what capacity, what does that entail? Here, again, it says, you don't have an actual date when Ms. Green was appointed to this board, and I do have the other bylaws. I have the other bylaws, the initial bylaws that were submitted to us, and this is a resolution. This is not the bylaws, this is the resolution, am I correct?
Yes.
That supports the initial bylaws that already are in effect?
No, this is a resolution confirming the appointments and establishing terms of Commissioners Tanzania Green, John Raines, and Gary Gentry as trustees of the Trenton City Housing and Redevelopment.
Okay, but when you add this stuff, all this other language in here, it goes beyond just for that. So I just think that we have to really, I would like to really understand more and a breakdown of what this all really entails. Because you go into, because in the bylaws, it says it's a nonprofit, which is correct. You initiated the nonprofit. It also says in the bylaws that this nonprofit organization is not responsible for any fees or mismanagement of fees and stuff like that. That's one. And two, where is this nonprofit, where's the financials? Because we should have the financials to this. Because it's a nonprofit, it's connected to the housing authority, and there's no financials. So that's an issue. And I just think the language, like how does that play into assets in regards to the nonprofit, what controls are in place, it doesn't really, it's very vague.
Is there anybody else who wish to table?
There has to be a second, there has to be a second.
Has to be a second, I was
Is
gonna
there a
say point
second?
of order.
Is there a second
Just
to
a
her
second.
tabling resolution 24-17?
I second it.
You can't second yourself.
Oh, now we can't second ourselves?
No, you never
Rules
finished.
of order.
You can't do first and second.
I didn't do first.
You said you asked the
You
table.
made-
You asked.
Oh, okay, so I'm the first one I asked to
Yes.
table.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay,
Yes.
all right, that's fine. Okay.
Hearing none,
The motion is back on the table.
Commissioner Guerrero,
No.
Commissioner Gentry,
Yes.
Commissioner Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez,
Yes.
Commissioner Raines,
Yes,
Commissioner Staten,
Yes.
Chairwoman Weldon Gordon.
yes.
That concludes
And,
the
and please put this in the minutes that there was no financial information for this nonprofit.
At this time, is there any,
point of order, Mr. Secretary. I just have a real quick question before we move on. My apologies, Madam Chair. We take these meetings and everything's in the minutes. Am I correct, Commissioner? You're correct. Okay.
at this time, is there any new business? Hearing none, public session, please.
Okay.
When you come to the podium, please state your name and your address.
Dwight Harmon, would you like to speak?
Yeah.
Okay. Does anyone else want to speak that didn't sign up?
My name is Dwight Harmon, 630 West State Street, French Towers,
What is your apartment, sir?
509.
Thank you so much. Please state your issue.
My issue is with my rent. It's all over the place and I haven't gotten an answer. And I've been calling for months to get an appointment to talk to the person I paid my rent to. And I talk, when we get to talk, it's out in the hallway. It's not private. It's just open. And I don't think that's fair to me. And, you know, I'm on a list to go to court and all that, and I want to know why.
So can you tell me who is the manager over at French Towers?
We have one now. Miss Matthews was there, but she was running all three places, and it took a while for me to catch up with her. We set an appointment, I'll be there, but she don't be there.
So is there somebody?
Someone's appointment now, I think her name is Sharon.
So can you tell me how long has this been going on?
Well, I've been there 2 years, so it's
Has it
been,
going on for 2 years?
yes.
Okay, so here's what I'm gonna recommend for you. I need you to hear from whom? Oh, I was gonna say, can you talk to Rich? Okay, all right. Okay, so you've been having conversations with, Mr. Tibbs?
Yes.
Okay, all right. And has anything been resolved?
Almost, but not surely. She said, give her some time. My niece said, you gotta give the rent to Mr. Ebony, and she said, give her time to get this in place.
Okay. All right, so let us work on it this month, okay?
Okay,
All right, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Patience.
Mr. Nate Oliver.
President.
Good afternoon in the name of Jesus.
Good afternoon.
Good to see you again, Mr. Howard.
Likewise to you all. Pleasant New Year.
Your name, sir?
Nathaniel Oliver.
Where do you live, sir?
630 West State Street, apartment 510. My telephone number is,
I don't need
oh,
that,
okay,
sir.
my bad. All right.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
And your issue, sir?
During your break in the holidays for Christmas and New Year's, my refrigerator went out. I went through the protocol as an emergency. Everything that I had to chuck it. So I received the refrigerator after you guys came back. But when I called the emergency number, there was no response. No one got back to me. So the meal that I had and everything that was prepared, no more good. That's one incident. There was an inspection in February. And I've had break-ins where I've had materials and belongings missing, my passport, cash. And so I placed a chain lock on my door, which I purchased from Home Depot. In February, there was an inspection, a HUD inspection. I had my chain lock on the door. I'm in bed asleep. I was informed that they knocked on the door, they banged on the door, and there was no response. So they broke the lock, the chain lock. And they came in the apartment. And so finally I was summoned and I woke up. The maintenance man, Vernon, was standing in my bedroom, and there were 3 others who were in the hallway. My right hand is bald, my left hand is reaching for something, but then I realized it was burning in my apartment. So I'm like, well, what's going on? Well, we knocked on your door. The gist of it is that I didn't allow them in my place. It was stated that the chain lock was broken because it wasn't issued, a violation of Trenton Housing Authority. But I paid for it myself. Why I'm here is that for the time that my refrigerator and my food was gone and the incident here, I haven't heard anything from anybody. So what I did, I held my rent up to have some type of conversation for my issue. Oh, it doesn't work, but for the month of 3/5, I have the rent here in my hand. But like I said, nobody never came and said diddly boo to me. And if it's what I consider a skull session, now we can talk about it. But I have a responsibility to my obligations. You know, it's not that I didn't want to pay my rent. I just wanted to talk to somebody. So here I am today, and then here's the money for this month also. So to let you know that I'm a man of my word and my obligation, what can we do?
Please pay your rent, sir. Please pay your rent.
Okay, it's right here.
Please pay your rent.
It's right here.
I'm sorry.
Okay, but I understand that. Like I said, I have no problem paying my rent.
If I could just say your situation, you know, just by the black and white of the lease, you know, we do consider things go by the black and white of the lease. If in fact your refrigerator goes out and you lose your food, we don't, you know, we're not obligated to reimburse you. Sometimes we'll give a gift card.
A gift card.
A ShopRite gift card. And if you didn't get that, we'll be willing to give you a ShopRite gift card on that towards your food. The other thing about the lock, you're not, unless you got authorization from management to put your own chain lock on the door. I'm sure they gave you the proper notification for the inspection. And then if we come to a door where there's an unauthorized lock and we can't get in the unit, which we have to inspect, then they would break the lock to get into the unit, because ultimately, the housing authority has the authority to go in that unit, inspect that unit in accord with the lease and in accord with the house rules and procedures.
Okay, so the explanation that was given to me is that we thought you were dead. Yeah, I was dead sleep. All right, okay, I have another incident.
I would say submit,
On resurrectional-
submit something just on, did you ever submit anything to the manager on the refrigerator? Did you inform the manager?
I called the tape while you were out on vacation. And that's the emergency number, that's the protocol, I called it.
Right, you called the emergency number for your refrigerator, but
Yeah.
when they came back and they replaced your refrigerator, did you ever go speak with management about the fact that you lost the food in your refrigerator is what I'm asking. Did you ever speak with them about that?
That was before, before the inspection. And so,
So you
my
didn't
man,
speak-
I spoke to my
You
manager.
request to have your food reimbursed, or to get payment for your food out of your refrigerator?
No, I wrote a letter here on, on the 13th of March. I was gonna discuss all of this when I renewed my lease. And
So what
so,
I'm saying is that you're making a request, but what I'm trying to just get clarity on, you haven't actually made the request. Is that correct? You haven't actually spoken with management about being reimbursed for the loss of your food?
yes, I did. On the 13th of last month, I had a letter written expressing my desires.
Okay. And you handed it to management?
It's in my file. Because I was supposed
Did
to.
you hand it to management, sir? Did you give it to the housing manager, your letter on March 13th about your request?
The letter, yes.
You did,
When
you handed it to
I
her, you
was
took it to
supposed,
her
I
office.
was, yes, I was supposed to have done my recertification.
Okay,
I arrived and I was late, but I did submit. And
Okay.
there is a copy within.
So,
On Resurrectional Sunday, I was injured at 6:30. Due to both elevators being down, I got out of church, and for 2.5 hours, I sat in the lobby. So my body couldn't take it no more. I'm not as young as I used to be. I went to reach down to grab my belongings to walk up the steps, and then the door on my hip, on my hip.
sliding glass door, sir?
Yes, ma'am. That's the rear doors. So in order to have the belief, I would like to be able to observe the cameras as my proof as to all the witnesses that were in the lobby at that particular time. And then what shall I do in the process? My hip hurts me now.
so you're asking for a personal
Excuse me.
injury claim, you wanna put
So-
a personal injury claim?
I did place an incident report. Yes, I did.
So, I would like for you to sit
See an
down and
attorney.
I would like for you to sit down and have a conversation with Mr. Godfrey. Mr. Godfrey?
Yes,
Do you
ma'am.
mind having a conversation with him
Yes,
to follow up with his
His claim
and paperwork and
Yes.
all of that stuff? Because then I know it's separate issues and separate departments, and then you will be able to guide him from there.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Is that
so.
okay with you, Mr.
Yes,
Hodges?
ma'am, that's very
Thank you so
fine.
much.
Now, with the rent, can I hand it?
No, no,
We'll
no.
take care of that.
No, you need
When
to
you
do
talk,
it.
when you talk to Mr. Godfrey, he will direct you to all the things that you need to do, sir.
Okay, I thank you for your time and your efforts, and God
Thank
bless you
so
all.
much for your patience.
And that's all that I have on this list
Is
of public
that
comment.
it? Thank you so much. At this time, we have commissioner comments. Commissioner Barrett,
I've made my comments, early on, there's gotta be some changes. And, this is not, it's not, I'm only going what operates, is all of you have to get a grip. Because this is business. and you're adding whatever your personal issues are with yourselves at these meetings. And the book that I'm appointed on this board, like the rest of you are, I take my time and I break down and I look at those numbers, I look at what's been submitted by the administration. That's my time, that's my contribution. When I come here, you do not, like all of us, that's all of our contribution. You cannot get an attitude that I'm doing what I am appointed to do and what we're all here appointed to do. We have a liability, we have a legal obligation. That's what we're here for. All this extra stuff that's been going on for the last 3 years, making up stuff, coming in here with stuff that is not even relevant to the care of these tenants. The purpose we're here is to advocate for that's the purpose of the board. There's no need for the board. If you're not advocating for the tenants, there's no reason for the board. You're not here to advocate for the administration. You're here to advocate for the board, for the tenants. We're not enemies with the administration. We work with the administration to make sure the services and whatever comes along with being in public housing based on the vision and the mission statement is being implemented. That's the purpose. So all this extra stuff that's coming in this meeting since I've been on this board, and then we come up with this high note about respect and ethics when it's convenient, it's like, it's insane. It's a circus. It's a house of cards. Like, this is gonna fold. Trust me, this is not good. The tenants come here, they have issues about the matter and how things are operating. They're not satisfied. They're not satisfied with this board. They have stated it. Enough is enough. This is like, to me, it's a waste. Well, there's no need for this board. If you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, overseeing, oversight, monitoring. That's why the booklets, they take time. This is money. For them to put this booklet together, for them to prepare for this meeting, this is part of their job, and this is also the help with the motivation, and also, it also demonstrates the ED's performance in being able to lead this agency. So I think we have a misunderstanding in these roles, the reason that we're sitting at this table. And if there's a misunderstanding about the roles about this table, I think there's a misunderstanding about the roles that the administration is supposed to be providing to these tenants. Because it's just a mess. It really is. It's just like, it's embarrassing. And then y'all want to put this, and then, like I said, French Towers, I asked certain questions was trying to mislead, to make it seem like I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, I'm gathering information. That was cut out. Even with the tenants speaking about what about the board in itself, that was even cut out. But yet we keep referring back to this YouTube and these minutes and stuff like that. It's only to convince you. All this little playing to make it seem like so-and-so is doing what they supposed to be doing, so-and-so ain't doing. Honey, after a while, I'm telling you, I'm not your problem. I am not your problem. And whatever problems you're having, I think you all need to fix it.
Commissioner Gentry.
Well, I have to agree. We are not an advocacy board, we're a policy board. So, not getting lost in the sauce here, but more important than that, the idea, just the tone of this board is just totally out of control. It's over the top. I've said this before, to have to teach grown people to play in the same sandbox at this point in life is simply ridiculous. You cannot sit down, respect one another, talk to another one with some sense of respect, because it's important that you get your point across. You gotta be loud, you gotta be belligerent, and just flat out nasty is not accomplishing anything. don't feel bad, you know, like they say, a fool's only a fool when they realize it. It's just way over the top. This board really needs to like tone it in, bring it in, and act like adults, handle what we need to do. We don't have to agree on everything, but we have to have a way to communicate about it and come up with an answer. But this here targeting one another, being nasty. Madam Chair, you need to bring the 3-minute rule back. After those 3 minutes, if you can't tie your conversation down in 3 minutes, chuck the rest of garbage. You got 3 minutes to get your point across. After that, move on to the next person. Because it's turning into a gripe session. It's not a productive meeting, it's turning into a gripe session, which accomplishes nothing. Mr. Target, I told Jelani all the time, he's got the director, he's the target. Because as you move up, everybody gonna take shots at you. I've been on this board a while. I have seen the changes in this housing authority. I know the difference that you make. Is it perfect? No. But is it getting better? Yes. Well, the one thing I like is when something happens, you work on the problem, you try to come with a resolution to fix it in the long run. I've had a lot of one-on-one conversations with you about it, so I know what's going on with that. But it's time for this thing to like tone it and bring it in. Act civilized. And do what we need to do. Let's see.
Commissioner Green.
Yes, I want to take my time to apologize to the board and to the staff and the residents. I have not been here due to personal matters. My grandmother passed away and my brother-in-law did, 2 months apart. And I am a teacher, and right now we're in April, and we are testing students right now to get them to the next grade. We're transitioning. So that is why I was late, because I had to make sure my students had their pencils and erasers before I walked out of that classroom so they could get their testing on. So again, I apologize, but the academic year is almost over. Hopefully we'll be producing some new scholars, so one day they can sit on the board and run our city. So again, I apologize, and I have been in conversation with the board members that need to know. Thank you.
Commissioner Lopez.
Yes, I just want to firstly say thank you to Commissioner Staten for her support in the committees. She really is instrumental to the 5 drafts that we have here. She really had a sense of urgency, and it's very encouraging and inspiring, and so I would just hope that you all can look at the drafts and come up with your own thoughts and suggestions as to what you would like to see as a part of these boards. And there was a comment by another commissioner that, you know, it would be great for us to have a meeting of us together to just talk about this that's apart from the regular board meeting, and I'm in agreement. And so I would also think it would be nice to do a retreat specifically for this, if it's a special retreat where we can convene and not have issues of meeting without without proper notification to the public. And so that's something I think would also be great for us to do. But at least for now, start getting your thoughts and opinions about what you're seeing and maybe what you're not seeing and would like to. And those are my comments. Thank you.
Commissioner Reynolds.
Good afternoon. Actually, I really didn't have anything to say, but my condolences, Commissioner Green. And I'm speaking for myself. You don't owe me an apology at all. Coming up on 10 years serving on this board, I've sat in Commissioner Weldon's chair, and I agree with Commissioner Gentry. We have made tremendous progress, and the team that the executive director has put together, I have 100% confidence in. I read my packet cover to cover, and if I have any questions, I keep them between me, the chair, and the secretary of the board, which was a practice I started when I was the chair. They answer to my satisfaction, it's okay. Shake your head all you want, but you know, those are my opinions and my experience, okay?
That's illegal.
Excuse me.
Whatever. incredibly. So that being said, I would like to move on. My apologies for being late, but I had something to advocate. But I support this authority and I support the executive director.
Commissioner State?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is my second meeting, and I really, first I want to thank everyone who's took the time out to come to see our proceedings, the staff, and especially the residents. When I agreed to serve on this committee, I wanted to be able to help the authority move forward. I've served on different committees. I've held elected and appointed positions. I have never been insulted like I was today. It was unprovoked, it was unprofessional, and certainly will be addressed later. I will tell you that serving on boards can be like a thankless job. You know, you do a lot of work, you put in a lot of time. I'm looking forward to doing that. What I'm not looking forward to is these combative meetings. This is insane. It is to a point where it makes it is now affecting my comfort level.
Same here.
This is not normal. This is not normal. I've been on council. They throw everything at you. But we have a sense of protocol, and we also have security. I'm going to tell you, Madam Chair, you would not have a line asking for the removal of Ms. Garrett, because that kind of behavior, those kind of attacks on colleagues is not acceptable.
Like
To me,
you said, you hear the
it's not
second
acceptable.
meeting, but
To
you ain't
me,
been around long enough.
to
Nobody
me or
interrupted you.
anyone else, no one should have to be subject to that kind of
I
ranting
agree.
and raving,
I agree.
unprovoked by anyone, and especially anyone who is in the capacity of a commissioner. These ethics are extremely important. I'm glad you brought them out, and I encourage everyone to read them. I've watched these meetings on Zoom and whatnot, and I know that this isn't new behavior.
No, it's not.
It's old, and it's still unacceptable. The next time I come to one of these meetings to serve, and I am attacked verbally about my position, my experience, or my value on this board, I'm going to request that that person be removed. And if they are not, I respectfully will leave this meeting. I will not stay somewhere and not be here.
I agree. I
But
agree.
lastly, I just want to say to the administration and to the director, I thank you for taking my call and being receptive to those changes. I told you I'm a proofreader by trade, and so I'm always type of stuff. I just want to see you do right. And so, and you were very, you took the right, you received it and you got it fixed. And so I appreciate that. And for Commissioner Simon, I am encouraged by your enthusiasm. Sometimes young board members, they just kind of sit around, just kind of wait and see what the flow is, but you jump right in, so neat. And I'm hoping that we'll get some real fantastic things done with the proposed standing committees. Y'all have a good day.
You know, I really had to sit here and think about what I was going to address everybody with today. But I gotta say, Commissioner Correct, you kind of shook me today, because my instincts was to go back to the old me. I have grown so much, and I have tolerated so many things. But the disrespect is bad. It is so bad that I don't know how much more I can take.
And I saying the same thing.
I let you talk. You had your turn. You had your turn.
But you're addressing me.
So the only thing you need to do is listen. Because I listen to you.
Okay. but I didn't call you out. Get out, directly. I didn't
Listen.
target you.
Listen, I just need you to listen.
Okay,
That's all I need.
I'm gonna take her page out of her. Thank you, everybody. Have a good day.
Goodbye. Because you are the problem. I'm going out the door. Go on.
See, now you attack me.
Going out the door.
You attack me.
I'm not.
So what you said, you need to reiterate, because she didn't hear it. But it's only, no,
Don't worry about it.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Darlene, I second you.
Bye.
Finish your statement for the record, please, Madam Chair.
The disrespect really has to stop. This is not how board meetings go on. And we all have to do better. It is okay to disagree, but the name calling and everything, it's just unacceptable. We are all in this together. We're trying to make everyone do better. Meeting after meeting after meeting, it's just bad. And I'm quite sure that you guys don't even want to come to a board meeting. Because it's just drama, unnecessary drama.
This ain't nothing new.
I know it's not nothing new, but we really have to do better because we have to set an example because we are in these positions to do better, to lead. If we can't show respect for one another, what are the tenants really thinking about us? So with that being said, our next meeting, we have to be on our P's and Q's. And in the beginning, where is Mr. Ron Glover?
Call security.
Yeah, right here.
Mr. Glover, I am so sorry to call you out, but the next time that I call you up here and I want you to escort somebody out the building, I need you to do just that.
Now that I know that it's protocol, I have no problem with doing that.
My man.
Thank you so much.
No problem at all.
My man.
At this time, can I have a motion to
So
adjourn this
moved.
meeting? Can I get a second? All those in favor? Thank you so much.
I'm gonna let Evan do the thing.
Stay on. Find out how they gonna be to get her back home. So besides that, that's why I choose. Now they tell me, I gotta spend my money.
Did you just recently try to take up the unit? Did you just recently put on the fed out? As a head of household? As a co-head or something? Okay, all right. Just have a seat. I'm gonna talk to this gentleman first.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, be neighbors.
But if you have any additional assistance with, you're trying to get her sent over there, or you looking for over there?
I got that covered. I'm just waiting on her dad to tell me what they want me to do. Well, right now I need to get all her stuff and my stuff out of the house. I'm on my way to court to file papers to get my personal belongings and her stuff. Now they know we've been sitting together for 2 years. Now you act like you don't know each other. And I told him I had power of attorney for her husband. And we like a family. Why y'all running
Thank you, Commissioner Stegman.
my money to get organization? That's where I was going to. He called me and said, "Let's come over here today." But I came back, you told me it was 2 months, right? So I went down there to do the reinstatement for release and whatnot. She comes up with
Good job.
She comes up with a year and a half. And then she doesn't have the time to go through each one.
Well, I
I'll make the time, because I'm gonna print everything out for you, and then we can set up a time where we go back.
She said, well, give me a little time. I said, look, we out here like in a lobby, and everybody got to have a conversation. I know my voice carries. That's not cool. Because it ain't private.
That's why we want you to make a point, we can make a point, come in and we can walk through where we're at.
Because I told her I called you 14 times, you ain't clear. You tell me I called twice. She ain't gonna tell me I called not once. And set up a point. And then my brother John, I said, no, dude, I don't need you stepping in, bro. He said, tell you hello.
Yeah.
I know John. He said, no, Lou. I said, no, dude, I don't need you. I handle this my own stuff. You know, because I pay my rent. I got to take care of my roof. And they know she was, you know, they had, 30 days to stay. They know she was in and out, staying there with me. You know, because I'm not going to put her in the street. You know, and I couldn't put her on, they wouldn't let her get on my lease or nothing like that. So I said, I'll just wait till time goes around till y'all get her in her place. And then I had to go in there and find her like that.
Yeah, so that piece, that's weird.
With the cat was on the floor, no knocking, man. After that lady around the other way, Linda, passed away, OD. Come on, dude.
Well, as you see, you heard here today.
Oh yeah, I heard.
We're trying to knock on doors, and people don't have doors, and we coming in, and then they run issues.
Yeah, but like I said, I'm like him too. I didn't bring it up. You know, I moved in the beginning of July. I said, didn't they move me to the beginning of January? I said, well, maybe that's where they keep all their books. You know, somebody went in, took my color TVs, laptop, about $60,000 worth of stuff. And nobody seen on camera. The car said didn't go out the door. I reported the police. Nobody in there came to me. You know, I ain't got it like that.
I got you. Well, we're going to get you squared away.
Okay.
I know Ebony right here.
Right.
So we're going to get you, what day this week will you be?
I can sit down and kind of walk in. Yeah, well, she kind of went over when we met the last time. Front, fully showed me. But I don't think the problem is on my end. I think the problem is on the state. Because when I started, it was helping me pay my rent.
So I've been looking at, so I've been working, they were supposed to be security deposit. I don't think you ever got that payment. And I've been going back and forth, calling somewhere, talking to the administration. And I had got there, so the last time I hit somebody in their accounting department, they hadn't got that. Can you give me a check number? Can you just let me know that check is passed? So I haven't got that.
She gave me, I paid my debt. When I go get shit on the state, all that's on me. So I'm covered, but the part is what she's talking about is on the state, and when it was up paid, it's not paid. So now it's falling on me.
Yeah, but I looked at your account and I noticed that there's some gas.
He got back charged too. So that's where a lot of stuff, not working, unreported income.
So if you get that charge, that's additional money.
So it's just other things on the account. So we have pay one thing and then the other. So it's not that I'm not looking into it. I take your paperwork home and you keep it on. No, seriously.
We're trying to get through it, and again, this is in the midst of it. It sounds like your issue isn't just one single thread. It's not just one thing, so there's a couple different things that each of you, which is going to take time.
Yeah, well, they told me, you know, once I got, my wife passed away, once I got the good one, that's when they all started saying, and I removed the list from the basket, I found out with it 4 months, and so I was paid $400. Then she said, they might back up. And then that's when they back up with almost $4,000. Yeah, I mean, what you see what I'm saying?
Well, that's one thing.
So in efforts to do that, he's been getting extra on top of what he pays. So it's like it's not consistent. It's an outside, kind of like a CPA, but not an official CPA is representative.
I'm gonna set that up before you get to a point where we have to get labeled. So, like I said, it's going to take a little bit of time. Again, I'm not seeing it per se, but it sounds like she's on top of it, but she knows a couple of different
She told me, come see her at the end of the point. She said, I'm not taking no more rent. And then I sent it to the field. I sent it to another part of your office. I just didn't do nothing online. Then I
Like that.
So let me ask you this, right? Any of your payments that you mailed off are they not
She was
accounted
instrumental in, all
No, when I get my statement, it doesn't say what month or whatever, it's just got an amount.
Right.
So I can't follow.
So anything that you put in my hands goes on your account.
Right.
Anything that you put in my hands goes right
Right,
on
but
your
then I
account.
think, when you was in your meetings, I think your secretary or the lady that works, okay, the lady works in your office, I don't remember her name, I think I gave her 2 payments.
Okay.
And
So anything
I
that
think
you
the
bring
thing that's
here,
what you bring here is
it's
be
put on
accounted
your
for.
account.
My thing is keep your receipts.
Right.
As long as you have your receipts, we can go back and pay it. So when I say organize your receipts by month, and then what we can do on our end, we'll organize the payments that we have on file.
Yeah.
We can track down any payment that you may have on your side, we can also look on our side to pinpoint those amounts.
I was with her, and then so I said, big photo album, put all my receipts on the page I paid. Because I was trying to do it when I was doing my reinvestment with her. She said, I gotta do it. This is business. You keep just pushing me off.
Because that's why, I understand, so one thing is I would ask is just, you give us some time to get our side together. And in the meantime, you have to get your receipts.